Welcome to this week's episode of Healthy-ish with Nutrish Mish. I'm excited to talk about today's topic because you may or may not know this about me, but I am a reality TV show junkie. If it's on Bravo, I am obsessed with it. My husband loves that about me. No, I'm just kidding. He says he doesn't like it, and I believe him, but he knows all the characters. Like I think he's watching in the background. But whether you're like me and you love anything and everything reality TV shows, or you are spending your time watching smarter, more enriching things, either way, you'll get something out of today's episode, because today we are talking about something that I am sure, unless you're living under a rock, you heard about, but in case you haven't, last week Kim Kardashian wore to the Met Gala Marilyn Monroe's Happy Birthday, Mr. President dress, like an iconic dress. And look, people have their opinions about Kim Kardashian. In my opinion, she stood the test of time. She is a badass businesswoman, and I think she's iconic. People have opinions whether she should have worn the dress or not, regardless. The thing about it was, she went to Ripley's, okay, because I believe that's where they were storing the dress. So she goes to Ripley's, and she goes to try the dress on, and the dress doesn't fit. Now, this is an iconic dress. It is in a museum. It's 1,000,000 years old. Like, you can't alter it. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. But, from what I gather, Kim Kardashian is the kind of person where if you tell her she can't do something, she's going to say, watch me. So what she did in order to fit into this dress was she lost 16 pounds in 3 weeks. So I'm going to give you my opinion on it and break down exactly what she did and tell you what was actually going on in her body when she was doing it. Is it possible to lose that much weight in that short period of time? It is possible, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to kind of break everything down for you. So how she said she did this, she said she does, say that she didn't starve herself, but she said she's a very low carb, zero sugar, working out a lot, and then wearing like one of those like sauna sweatsuits. Now, when you're doing all of that, what you're really doing is, first of all, you're doing something in a way that's not sustainable. So as quickly as it comes off, it's going to come on just as fast, which we're going to get to that in a second. But what you're doing is you're really manipulating, initially at least, water weight, because what you're doing is you're eliminating carbohydrates, right? Now, if we think about the word carbohydrate, the word hydrate's in there. Carbs are very water heavy. So if you ever dabbled in a low carb diet and you notice the first week you lose like a lot of weight, you lose like 5 pounds or something like that, that's all water weight. So you're not like leaner for it. You're just kind of like getting rid of extra water weight. The other indicator is that when you're wearing a sauna suit, again, sauna suits aren't necessarily going to like help you burn more fat. It's just going to, again, manipulate your water. So a lot of the weight that she lost was water weight, which if you're losing water weight, that's not necessarily making you slimmer. You're just releasing water. Now, the dangerous part of that is that you could severely mess up your electrolyte balance. Now, I'm assuming when she was doing this, and I don't know, but I'm assuming she was working with professionals. My problem with the overall thing, which I'm going to really go into detail to in a minute, is that I'm going to say something. I don't hate that she did it. I hate that she told everyone that she did it. Because again, if you need to do this, right? Like actors sometimes, just for example, need to alter their bodies for a role, right? There's been a lot of cases of actors, losing weight. Like Jared Leto is a great example of that. He lost weight for like Requiem for a Dream. There's so many examples of actors losing weight, gaining weight, getting ripped, altering their bodies for work, for a role. Now, you can argue that, Kim Kardashian's not an actor. This was like a choice. This is a dress. But she's somebody that, when she gets something in her head, she takes it seriously. And again, as part of her personality and what makes her successful is she doesn't like to be told no. She finds a way around it. Now, the issue, though, is Kim Kardashian doesn't have the same audience as an actor. She is an influencer. There are millions of people, definitely millions, maybe more, of people hanging on her every word, looking up to her. There was like a big, media frenzy around her possibly wearing this dress. So it was a thing. So look, if you have your heart set on this dress, if you're dying to fit into this dress, if you're like, I am willing to go through all these unhealthy measures because I am not determined to fit into this dress, like, who am I to tell you you can't do that? Your body, your choice, right? But don't talk about it. Just fit into the dress and then shut the F up about it. Like, you can't talk about it because you have a platform and people are hanging on your every word. And the only thing that you said was that if clothes don't fit you, there's something wrong with you. You must alter your body for the clothes, not the other way around. Like, that is a terrible message to send, right? It's when you have this kind of platform, you have a responsibility. It's the same thing when you have kids. You have a responsibility to teach them certain things, It comes with the territory. So, if you're going to be somebody who's going to be a role model and that's how you're portraying yourself and people hang on your every word, you can't perpetuate this damaging narrative. You just can't, if you want to do it, by all means do it, but just shut up about it. So I originally didn't even really want to talk about this because I didn't want to add more fuel to the fire and give it more attention. But like I said, some people were asking for it, but I wanted to do it in a context where we're breaking down exactly what she did and going over exactly what's going on in her body, just in case there was anybody out there that was wondering or wanting to dabble into it. They'll know exactly what they're doing and hopefully think better of it. Okay, so let's break down what we know she did. We know that she said she wore a sauna suit twice a day. When you wear a sauna suit and you're trying to lose weight that way, you're not losing any body fat from that. You're just really manipulating your water weight. Essentially, you're dehydrating yourself. The problem is when you're dehydrating yourself, there's a lot of problems with that, but let's kind of go over some major to minor ones. You're completely possibly throwing your electrolyte balance off. Your electrolytes do so many things in your body, mainly regulating your heart, little things like that. You can mess with your blood pressure. You can get extremely dizzy. You could faint. You can pass out. At a bare minimum, you're going to feel absolutely friggin' exhausted because when you're dehydrated, just get a little sciencey on you for a minute. When you're dehydrated, so basically red blood cells carry oxygen to your brain. So the more oxygen that you get in your brain, the more awake you feel. That's why if you ever go to Vegas, they have those oxygen bars that makes you feel awake. So red blood cells carry those babies up to your brain. It makes you feel nice and awake. If you have these nice, plump, hydrated red blood cells, you're going to get a lot of oxygen to your brain. You're going to feel phenomenal. If you have these tiny little shriveled up red blood cells because you're dehydrated and that's what's bringing oxygen to your brain, you're going to feel exhausted. So at kind of the worst, your electrolytes are messed up, you're messing with your heart rate, you could pass out, you can mess with your blood pressure. At a minimum, you're going to feel exhausted. And just to boot, you're not actually losing real weight, you're just kind of manipulating your water weight. So the next thing she said she did is she completely cut out all sugar and all carbohydrates. So anytime, as we all know, if you're going to try to lose weight by cutting out something like all sugar and all carbohydrates, the second that you start eating sugar and carbohydrates again, you're going to gain all the weight back. So not only do I suspect that she started eating sugar and carbs again? I know she did because after she was talking about her weight loss on the red carpet, she was saying how after the Met Gala, they were going to go back to her hotel room and have a pizza and donut party. So not only is she going to gain all the weight back pretty much right away, but the other thing is that she's created a situation right now where something like pizza and donuts and carbs and sugar are going to seem so amazing and so alluring because you haven't had it in such a long time. You feel so restricted by it. Restriction always breeds overindulgence. Whenever you feel like you haven't had something, you can't have something, you're going to want so much more of it. So now she's in a position where carbs and sugar and all that stuff are going to seem so much more amazing than they did before. She's potentially going to really overdo it, with eating them. And regardless of how much she's eating of that stuff, she's definitely going to gain the weight back because she's, introduced all of that stuff back into her system. And the last thing she said she did was she ate the cleanest veggies and protein. She washed them very well. Now, so some people take issue with the word clean in this industry. I don't take issue with the word clean. I think it's fine. I know what they mean. Maybe a better word is nutritious. So, I think she's trying to say she ate nutritious veggies and protein, which I have no problem with that. I think that's completely fine to do, but you can't just thrive on nutritious or clean veggies and protein. You need other things in there because one of the hallmarks, if somebody's going to be doing something that is going to give them lasting results, is if they enjoy it and if it's something that they can do forever, which obviously that is not the case with the situation. So look, at the end of the day, it's her body, it's her choice. If she wants to, lose 1 million pounds in 1 million ways, fine. But the problem is when you have a platform like that, you can't tell people, you can't glamorize it. You glamorize this blueprint that's so destructive and so dark, and people are listening to it. And not only is it dark and dangerous, but it doesn't work. It's not effective long term, right? So that's the problem, is that it just seems really, really irresponsible that she bragged about it, talked about it, glamorized it. One of the things when I was starting Nutrishmish is I really wanted to change this culture around this stuff. When people are trying to lose weight this way, you're setting yourself up for a lifetime potentially of pain. So what Nutrishmish does is we help people lose weight in a way that's sustainable. We help people design their own nutrition philosophy that can include donuts and definitely includes carbs and all good stuff and things that you can actually stick to for the rest of your life. So when you're losing weight, it's a result of optimizing your eating habits, not just trying to manipulate the scale. And we've had so much success. Our program is now virtual. We've helped over 10,000 people. And if you want to be next, I will link it below. Click the link below, check it out, and make sure you are subscribed to Healthyish at Nutrishmish so you never miss an episode.